Kami, bangsa Indonesia, dengan ini menyatakan kemerdekaan Indonesia.
Okay, hello everybody. It is Mr. Danny speaks here, and now we are going to discuss together about our final test practice. I am going to make this discussion into interactive discussion. I hope from here you not only just copy about the way, but also understand about how and when you will apply it to the questions. So I am going to guide you along these discussions about how to find the ways about all the questions, but you have to find the final answers about it. And I hope for the future it can enhance your knowledge. Yeah, so math is not only about the numbers, but about how we apply it to solve about our problems around us. Okay, let's restart our discussion. So in here there are any three parts, part A, part B, and part C. But now we are going to learn about part A first. Okay, so as given here, it is a bar chart that shows us about the world population in 2025. So I give you the data, the real data in this world. So you can, as you see here, you can see the source here. It is came from UN World Population Prospect. So I hope you can apply also about your knowledge, yeah, in our daily life, yeah. And I think it is worth it if you can apply your knowledge to help you and others to solve its problems. Okay, so for number one, based on the bar chart that is given there, yeah, what is the number that has place value of 10,000 of the biggest population country? Okay, so as you see here, I give you a keyword here, the biggest population country, and I think maybe you can find based on the bar chart which one is the biggest population country. That's right, it's India, and it has the population that is mentioned at the bar chart there. And now when we discuss about the place value, if you're still confused about it, maybe you can use the table, or maybe you can make it by yourself, a simple table that is described about the place value. As shown here, yeah, there are any simple place value about the table. Yeah. Okay, in here, yeah. So there are any ones, thousands, millions, and billions. And let's see. We can start to place all about the number, this number, into the table here. You can start from the least one, the least place value ones. It came from ones, and then tens, and then hundreds, and you can do the rest to write the rest. Yeah. And when it asks you to find the place value of 10,000, let's see which one is the 10,000. Yes, right, in here, right? So you have to find the numbers that is have circled here, and I think, and you can see that this is the answers for number one. So the numbers that has place value of 10,000 of the biggest population country is shown by the circle shape here. Okay, can you find what number is it? Okay, I think you can understand about it, yeah. Okay, let's go to the number two. Still on the same data, on the same bar chart here. Now for number two, what is the distance between Indonesia and Brazil population? And it has an instruction, round off each number into nearest 10 millions. So after you find about the numbers, so before you calculate it, before you find the distance, first of all, you have to round off each number into nearest 10 millions. Okay, so when we speak about distance, so I think it is a certain operation of mathematics that is described about the distance. But what is it? Okay, let's we discuss it later on. But before that, let's we find how many population of the Indonesia. Yeah, here, yeah. And how many about the Brazil? Yeah, it is showed by the rectangles marked there. Yeah, okay, so let's see. We have to round off each population, yeah, into nearest 10 millions. Okay, so for Indonesia, it is said 284,622,217. So if we have to if we ask to round off it into nearest 10 millions, it means, yeah, it can be how many? So I can give you some clue here. So 8 here as the 10 millions. 8 here has the place value of 10 millions. So when you can round off it into 10 millions, so you can find the answers here. So please give it the numbers. So what does it mean? So if you have to round off it, it means all the numbers before the 8 must be substitute with 0. Yeah. And also for Brazil, it is 212,422,689. So if we want to find about the place value of the 10 millions, so we can see here 1 in here as the 10 millions for the place value of the population of Brazil. So what does it mean? It means that the numbers before 1 here, it must be substituted with 0 also. So after you can do that for Indonesia and Brazil, what next? Because it asks you to find the distance, so we have to subtract it. So we have to subtract between the population of Indonesia and Brazil. But sure, you have to round off it first into nearest 10 minutes, and you can find the answers. Okay, now for number 3, still the same bar chart, but now it is different in questions. When we estimate the number of population in United States, then we will obtain that it is equal to blah 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 times of the numbers of population in Russia. So with the same clue, we have to round off first about each number into nearest 100 million. So let's see. When we speak about estimate, so we just speak about how we can count it fast. Yeah. So we have to round off about the populations. Yeah. And now for the United States, how many times of the population Russian? So I think it must be any relation between the population United States and Russia. So let's see about the United States. It is shown as the rectangle markers shown there, and also for Russia. But we deal with United States first. Okay, so for United States, it is said 346,373,570. So if we want to round off it into nearest 100 million, it means blah 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 blah. Do you get it? Okay, now let's see about the Russia. The Russia population is 144,435,265, and with the same way, we have to round off it into nearest 100 million. So for United States, the numbers that has a circle mark here, as the place value of 100 millions. So what does it mean? It means all number before the certain or the mentioned here must be substituted with 0. And also for Russia, 1 here as the 100 million of place value of the population of Russia. And it means that the other numbers must be substituted with 0. So after you find it, then we have to divide it. Why? Because we want to estimate the United States is how many times of Russia. So between United States and Russia, population must be divided about the population. After that, you can find about the answers for number 3. Okay, let's go for number 4. What is the total population of African countries that is mentioned on the chart above? Round off each number into nearest million. So let's see. Is what keyword that is mentioned here? Total. I know. Maybe all of you know what operation that is used for total. Yeah. And now about the African countries. Okay, as mentioned here, the African countries is just mentioned only 2 countries. It's Nigeria, 235,087,814, and Ethiopia, 133,764,511. And if we have to round off it into nearest million, what does it mean? For Nigeria, 5 here as the place value of the nearest millions of the population of in Nigeria, and 3 here as the place value of nearest millions for the population of Ethiopia. So from here we know the all numbers before 5 in here for Nigeria must be substituted with 0. And also here, all number before 3 in Ethiopia here must be substituted with 0. After you find about the round of numbers, both of them, and because it is asks you to find total, we have to plus it. And after you plus or after you add both of the numbers, then you can find the answers. Okay? Okay, now let's go for number 5. The order of the Asian countries if it is sorted from the least population are. Okay. So we have to put the numbers of Asian countries in order from least to the greatest. So let's see which country is in Asia or is the member of the Asian country. First of all is Russia. Actually, Russia is a transcontinental. What does it mean? Russia lies between Asia and Europe, but most area of Russia is lies in Asia. So we can say that Russia is one of the Asian countries. So Russia here has the least population between the countries that is mentioned here, and it is came from Asia. And then Bangladesh, Pakistan, Indonesia, China, and finally India. And then you can put it in order from the least to greatest. Okay? Yeah. Okay, let's go to the number 6. Yeah. So for number 6 until 10, and there is any fun fact that is provided here. and it is about the data of orangutans. Orangutans are intelligent and solitary great apes, sharing nearly 97% of their DNA with humans, and being the only great ape found naturally outside of Africa. Their name, orangutan, translates to person of the forest in Malay in Indonesia. They are classified as endangered animal since their population for around 120,000 individuals all around the world. Its population is a quarter of any great apes in the world. Okay, so let's see. For number 6, it said that if in the future, imagine in the future, the scientists succeed in breeding 2 out of 7 more of this population, how many fraction of orangutans among any great apes at that time? Okay, so here we know that there's any keyword that will guide you about which operation of math that will be used. More of. When we speak about more of, so what does it mean? Yes, the number will increase, not decrease. The increasing of the number, it means it is an addition operation. So we have to add between the number, even maybe the fraction here. Okay, let's see. More means increase the number, addition. And let's see, from the information below, or that is shown there, yeah, the population of the orangutan is only 1 out of 4 of any great apes in the world. But if in the future the scientists succeed in breeding 2 out of 7 more of this population, what does it mean? So we just only add between 1 out of 4 and 2 out of 7 become like this. 1 out of 4 plus 2 out of 7. So I think you can understand about how to solve it, right? But if you still forget about it, just open your textbooks and try to learn it about the fraction 1, chapter 2. So I will give you a clue. First of all, you have to set the denominator into the same numbers by using LCM. Yeah. And I will leave it for you. Yeah. And as you know here, the LCM of the 4 and 7 is 28. So it means all denominator must be set into 28. Yeah. And I think that is my clue. And you can do the rest until you find the answers. And don't worry, students. At this end of the recording, I will share about the answer key of this. So you can compare about your works with the answer keys. And I hope your work is aligned with the answer keys. Okay? Okay. Next, we can go to number 7. 5 of its are the yonks. Then how many is the fraction of it? Okay, let's see. There's any keyword here. It is say of, mentioned of. What does it mean? Of means a part of, or in an operation of mathematics, it's called multiplication operation. And let's see. Orangutan population is 1 out of 4 of any great apes in the world. 1 out of 4 is the population of orangutan of any great apes in the world. And let's see, if 2 out of 5 of the orangutan population are the young. So I think there is any relation between 1 out of 4 here and 2 out of 5 here. So if we have already obtained that of means multiply, so what does it mean? We just multiply 2 out of 5 with 1 out of 4. Because 2 out of 5 is the part of 1 out of 4. That means. And after that, maybe you can do the rest, yeah, just like what I taught you before. Just up times up and down times down, and don't forget to simplify it. Okay? Now, for number 8. Based on the previous questions, what is the numbers of the young? Okay. After we find about the answer from number 7, yeah. Now, let me turn the fraction that already obtained in number 7 into quantity. How come? Okay, let's see about the real numbers of the orangutans here is 120,000 individuals. So I think there is any relation between the fraction that is obtained from number 7, the question number 7, with it. So what is the relation? We just multiply it. So the fraction that you have already obtained on question number 7, put it here and then multiply it with the numbers of the orangutan. And after that, you can find the answers. Just make it like this, yeah. Just make 120,000 become fraction, just like this, 120,000 out of 1. And likewise, just up times up and down times down, and don't forget to simplify it until you find the answer. Alright guys, let's we go to the next. Now for number 9, how many fraction is the population of another great apes in the world? Okay, let's see. Another great apes in the world, but let's say that 1 is as the numbers of whole population of another great apes in the world. Yeah, let's say 1 as the numbers of whole population of another great apes in the world. Then, if we want to find it, how come? Let's see. 1 here as all great apes, okay? And as you see here, 1 out of 4 is the orangutans part. So if we want to find another great apes, so we have to subtract between 1 and 1 out of 4. Why? Because 1 it means for all great apes, and 1 out of 4 is for orangutan part. So for another parts, we have to subtract it. Okay, and then what do we do next? Next, just turn 1 into 4 out of 4. As I said before, and as I explained on your previous lessons before, 1 can be 4 out of 4 or 5 out of 5 or 6 out of 5. 1 can be same numbers in between the numerator and denominator. So by this case, because this fraction 1 out of 4 has denominator of 4, and to make it easy to calculate it, so just turn 1 into 4 out of 4. Yeah. Or maybe in other words, we can say like this. If 1 out of 4 is the part of orangutan, then how many part of the whole great apes in the world? I think all of you know, yeah? Just 4 out of 4. So 4 out of 4 is the population all great apes around the world. But 1 out of 4 is the population of orangutans only. So if you want to find another great apes, just subtract it between 4 out of 4 and 1 out of 4. Then you can find the answers. Okay. I left the blank space here so you can try to calculate it by yourself. Okay, let's we go for number 10. If a conservation could save 8 out of 64 of its population, then how many conservation must be built to save all its population? Okay, let's imagine that this picture is a conservation. What does conservation means? Conservation is like a shelter for animals. Yeah. especially for endangered animals. Yeah, it is a shelter. Let's imagine that these shelters can accommodate 8 out of 64 of orangutan population. So now, how many shelter must be built, yeah, to accommodate all population of the orangutans? So we can make it like this, yeah. 8 out of 64 must be multiplied by what fraction? So it will become 1 out of 4. So how many shelter must be built? Yeah. How many shelter must be built if each shelter can accommodate 8 out of 64? So the shelters can cover all the population of the orangutans, 1 out of 4. Yeah. And how we can do that? If we want to find the blank space here, so we have to make a division problems. So how to solve it? Just divide between 1 out of 4 and 8 out of 64. Something like this. Yeah. So 1 out of 4 here as the population of orangutans and 8 over 64 as the population of one shelter. Yeah. So if you want to find how many shelters, just divide it between the population of orangutans and the population that is lived in the shelter. And after that, if you want to uh, continue it, so first of all, we have to turn the symbol of the division become multiplication. And after that, we just flip the fraction, especially for the right fraction here. 8 out of 64 into 64 out of 8. And after that, likewise, just up times up and down times down. And after that, just simplify it and then you can find the answer for number 10. Okay, now for number 11 until 14, I think we will use the pie chart here. It's about the favorite seasons of some students. Blue as the spring season, red the summer, yellow autumn, and green is the winter. And the data is as mentioned here. Yeah. Okay. So now we have to convert each part of the pie chart as instructed on the table for questions number 11 to 14. So now for number 11, let's see about spring. Spring here is represented by the blue area here. Yeah, so in decimals, spring is 0.25. Now how we can convert it into simplest fraction? Okay, just make the decimals into fractions first. Yeah, so let's see, because there are any 2 digits behind the decimal mark here, it means it is out of 100. Yeah, so it means 25 out of 100. That is the fraction. But the problem is we have to find the simplest fraction. So how to make it simple? Just divide both of the numerator and denominator with the same number. And as you see here, directly I can use 25 as the divisor between 25 and 100 here. So 25 divided by 25 become 1, and 100 divided by 25 become 4. So for the simplest fraction, for number 11, it will be 1 out of 4. Now for percentage, because it is already out of 100 in simplest fraction here, so we can say that it is 25%. Percent mean out of 100. Okay. Now for the summer. Yeah. The summer here represented as the red area, it is 50% in percentage. Okay. Now, how we can find the other four? Okay. So first of all, about the simplest fraction. So if we want to find the fraction, first of all, let's see that percent mean out of 100. So 50% mean 50 out of 100. Then how to simplify it? Just find a numbers that can be a divisor for both 50 and 100. And And we can obtain that 50 is the biggest numbers or the biggest factors that can be a divisor for 50 and 100. Why? Because 50 divided by 50, 1, and 100 divided by 50 is 2. And 1 out of 2 is the simplest fractions of 50%. Now, next, for decimals, let's see that 50 out of 100 means out of 100 means there are any 2 digits behind the decimal mark. So we can make it into decimal become 0.50. But you can also say that it is 0.5. So between 0.50 or 0.5, it has the same form and has the same value. Yeah. Okay, let's go for the atom. Atom here represented as the yellow area, and it has 17 out of 100. And I think this is the simplest fraction of it. And then let's see, because it is already 100, so in percentage we can say that it is 17%. And how about the decimals? Because out of 100 means 2 digits behind the decimal mark, so we can make it become 0.17. Okay, and now for the winter. Yes, winter here represented as green area. It is 2 out of 25. And actually 2 out of 25 here as the simplest fraction. So from here we can find the percentage. How? By set 25 here as the denominator into 100. But how? We have to multiply 25 with 4 because 25 and 4 is the number bonding for 100, right? But to make it fair, the numerator must be multiplied by 4 also. So it will be like this. 2 times 4 and 25 times 4. 2 times 4 become 8 and 25 times 4 become 100. So because it's already 100, it becomes 8%. And how to make it become decimals? Because we have already know here that 8 out of 100, it means 2 digits behind the decimal mark because there's any out of 100 here. So how to make 8 become 2 digits behind the decimals? Just make it become like this, 0.08. There are 2 digits behind the decimal mark here. Okay, so that is the explanation from number 1 until 14. Okay, now let's go to the part B. And before that, let me give you some disclaimer that for all this explanation during these sessions, yeah, this is the disclaimer. You can use the different ways from it. From all my explanation in this video, you can use different ways. However, make sure that the final answers are same. So that is the point. That is the art of mathematics. That the problem of the mathematics is can solve in any ways that you can do, but the answers must be the same. Okay? Yeah. Okay, so let's go to number 15. Part B. Choose the correct answers of each question by giving check mark. Show the way of it. So what does it mean? It is kind of a it is a kind of complex multiple choice. So these questions has more than one answers, or maybe has 2 correct answer or 3 correct answers. So to know about it, you have to prove each statement whether it is correct or no. If it is correct, you have to give check mark in this part. Yeah. But if it is incorrect, so you just ignore it or just leave it. Okay? Let's go for number 15. Billy has 3.75 meter of ribbon. He wants to wrap 5 gifts for Christmas. Each gift needs 0.15 meter of ribbon. Now the question is this: which statement or statements below are correct? So it's possible that the correct answer must be more than one. But we check the statement here one by one. Okay, so let's see for the first statement. Sorry. Okay, but before that, let we gather all information that we have. Yeah. First of all, the length or the initial length of the ribbon is 3.75 meter. Then he will use it to wrap for 5 gifts, and each gift needs 0.15 meter of ribbon. Now, for the first statement, it is said that the remaining ribbon. Okay, so let's see how we can find the remaining ribbon. First of all, find the total length of used ribbon. How? Let's see. In here, we can mention here that it is 5 gift, right? And each gift needs 0.15. What does it mean by each? Each means we have to multiply. So it is a kind of a multiplication problems. So 5 must be multiplied by 0.15. And I think you can find the answer after that. Yeah, just find the answers. And then after that, yeah, okay, good, 0.75 meters. Then about the remaining ribbon, let's see, just subtract the initial length, which is 3.75, with 0.75 that already obtained here. And I think you know about it, yeah? And I will left the blank space here so you can find the answers here. Blah 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 meters. But the problem is the first statement states you that you have to convert it into centimeter. But in here still meter. So we have to convert it from meter to centimeter. But how? Just multiply it with 100 based on the conversion of the length. So after you find the answers, just multiply it with 100 so you can find the answers is blah 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 centimeters. And after that, you can compare about your works with the statement. Is it correct or no? If it's correct, just put a check mark here. But if it's incorrect, just leave it. Okay? Good. For the second statement, it is said that the length of ribbon that is used for the gift is 3 out of 4 meters. Okay. So, used for the gift means the numbers that you already find here or obtain here. It is 0.75 meters, right? So let's convert these decimal symbols into fraction. So how? Because there are any 2 digits behind the decimal marks, it means it is out of 100 in percentage, or we can make the denominator as 100. Yeah. So 0.75 meters means 75 out of 100. But I think it can be simplified, right? So we have to simplify it. How? By divide it with the same number as the divisor both of numerator and denominator, which is 25. 75 divided by 25 and 100 divided by 25. And after that, you can find the answers, how many meters, and just compare. And after you find it, just compare it with the statement here. Is it correct or no? Okay. Let's go to the third statement here. The length of ribbon that is used for the gift is 20% of all. All means the initial length of the ribbon, which is 3.75 meters. So it means 20% of 3.75 meters. Is it correct or no? Let's prove it. The total length of used ribbon equally 0.75, right? The used ribbon is 0.75, as I explained before. So it means 0.75 meters of 3.75 meters. Why we have to make it? Because we want to find the percentage. The percentage means the ratio, or in other words, we can make a fraction between the certain part with a whole part here. So because all of it is delivered in decimals, so we have to make it into maybe big numbers, yeah. So or maybe a simple numbers that can be divided with the whole numbers. So how? Just make it into centimeters for both of all. 0.75 meters becomes 75 centimeters. 3.75 meters becomes 375 centimeters. So in other words, 0.75 meter of 3.75 meters means 75 centimeters of 375 centimeters. And then after this, we just make it into fraction. How? Just make 75 as the numerator or the certain part and 375 as the denominator or the whole part here. Okay, and after that, let's just make or set the denominator into 100. Why? Because we want to make it in percentage. Yeah, percentage means the denominator must be in 100. But the reality is it is 375. So how we can make it 100? We have to simplify it first. How? Just divide it by 75 for each part, numerator and denominator. Why? Because 75 here as the biggest factor or the biggest number that can be a divisor for both of them. Yeah. So I use 75 here. But in case if you want to divide it by the small number, that's okay. Maybe just divide it by 5 and 5. Okay. But after you find the answers, just simplify it again by divide it by 5 and 5 and so on. Yeah. But to make it short, I just want to find the numbers that will be the biggest divisor for the numbers, which is 75. Yeah. Okay, so 75 divided by 75 becomes 1, and 375 divided by 75 becomes 5. And after you find this fraction, 1 out of 5, just make or set the 5 as the denominator into 100. So the question is, how to make 5 become 100? Yep, by multiply it with 20. Why? Because 5 times 20 means 100. But to make it fair, the numerator must be multiplied by 20 also. So it will be blah 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 out of 100. And we can say that is blah 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 percent. So I left here for you so you can fill the numbers here. And then you can compare about it. And after that, you can put the check mark for the correct statements here. Okay? Don't worry, I will give you the answer keys at the end of this recording. Okay? Now, let's begin number 16. Mr. Tono bought 2 out of 5 kilograms of rice. He used 3 out of 5 of rice to cook for a dinner party. Which of the following statements are correct regarding the amount of rice? Okay, so it is provide 3 statements here, and we have to prove which one or how many statements are correct by give the check mark. So let's we prove it by one. Let's we start from the first statement. But before that, let's we find the information that is given here. 2 out of 5 kilograms as the initial weight of the rice. That is bought by Mr. Tono. Used mean what? Yeah, used mean the decrease of the numbers, or we can say it is a subtraction operation. Okay, so now let's we go to the first statement, remaining amount. So let's see, 3 out of 5 here as the part of rice, right? So if 3 out of 5 as the part of the rice, can you find what is the part of the whole rice? Yep, right. So we can say that the part of the whole rice is 5 out of 5, right? If 3, just imagine that 3 out of 5 is the part of the rice. So what is the part of the whole rice? Yeah, 5 out of 5. And 5 out of 5 can be simplified into 1. So from here, how many part of the remaining of fraction? 1 minus 3 out of 5. Why? Because 1 here as the whole part and 3 out of 5 is the part of rice. And I mentioned before, 1 can turn into 5 out of 5 as the whole part. And just minus it with 3 out of 5. Then you can find the answer is 2 out of 5. But 2 out of 5 is actually not the answers for the expected answers from statement 1. 2 out of 5 is just the part of the remaining fraction. Then how to make it become percentage? Let's be continue it. After you find it, 2 out of 5, just convert the remaining part into quantity. But how? By multiply the remaining part in fraction here with the initial weight of the rice, which is 2 out of 5 kilograms. Sorry, 2.5 kilograms. So just multiply it. 2 out of 5 multiplied by 2.5. And then how to make it simple? Just make 2 out of 5, 2.5 become 2.5 out of 1. That's the fraction here. So let's see. Actually, decimals can be a fraction. Like this, right? Okay. Then just likewise, up times up and down times down. 2 times 2 out of 5 become 5 and 5 times 1 become 5. So 1 kilogram. So 1 kilogram is the weight of the used rice. Yeah. Now, after that, if we want to find the percentage of remaining part, so it means just make, sorry, 1 kilogram is the remaining weight of the rice actually. Sorry, I just revised my statement before it. So 1 kilogram here as the remaining weight of the rice. So after you find the remaining weight in real numbers, which is 1 kilogram, let's we convert it into percentage. But how? Okay, so we have to compare about this weight with the initial weight of the rice. So it will be 1 kilograms of 2 out of 5 kilograms. Or it can be like this, 1 out of 2.5. Now, because we want to make it become percentage, so now we have to set the denominator here into 100. But how? To make it clear, first of all, we can multiply it with 10, right? Because 1 times 10 become 1 and 2.5 times 10 become a whole number, which is 10 out of 25. And after now, as you see here, 25 can be 100, right? So how we can make it? I multiply it with 4. But to make it fair, 10 must be multiplied by 4 also to make it fair. Yeah. So it's called the equivalent fraction. Yeah. Okay, so now I think I will left this part for you. You can continue it until you find how many percentage and then just try to compare with this one. It is correct or not. Okay. Now let's we continue for the second statement. The amount of rice used is 1.5 kilograms. Okay, let's see. The amount of used rice is 2.5 kilograms as the initial weight of the rice minus by the remaining weight. And let's see, as you see here, the remaining weight is already 1 kilogram. So It means 2.5 minus yeah, equals to blah 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 kilogram. And I just left this part for you so you can continue it. And after you find these answers, you can compare with it whether it is correct or no. If it is correct, just put the check mark there in here. If it is not, just leave it. And for the third statement, the remaining amount of rice is 1.25 kilogram. But as you see here, yeah, the remaining part has already obtained by us, right? From here, you can. This is the actually the remaining weight of the rice. But the statement is said it. So from here you can conclude it is correct or not. Okay? Okay, let's we go for the number 17. A stadium has a capacity of 80,000 spectators. For a football match, 65% of the tickets were sold. Which two statements correctly describe the numbers of tickets sold or unsold? Let's we check it one by one. But before that, let's we find all the information that is given here. There are any 80,000 spectators, right? And then 65% of the tickets were sold. Okay, now, first statement, the number of tickets sold is 52,000. Let's prove it. The number of the tickets sold, just multiply the percentage with the quantity. It means 65% or 65 out of 100 must be multiplied by 80,000 as the spectators or as the whole quantity here. Then just do like I mentioned here to make it more simple. Yeah, just cross the zero or just remove the zero from here. And finally, you can find, just multiply 65 with 800 and then you can find the answers. And then you just compare your answers here with it. Is it correct or no? Just put the check mark if it is correct. Yeah. And now, for the second, the number of unsold tickets is 28,000. How to solve it? I think it is easy. Yeah. Just subtract the capacity of the stadium with the numbers of the tickets sold as mentioned here. So it means 80,000 minus blah blah blah. That is already obtained here. Already been obtained here. Then you can find the answers here. And I left it for you. Yeah, okay. Blah 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 tickets. Then just compare it with the statement. Is it correct or not? Yeah. And now for the third statement, we have to round to the nearest 10,000, right? So what does it mean? Let's see. The statement here said that 70,000 is the rounded result of it. But is it correct or no? Yeah, just compare this with this. When you round this, is it correct that the final answer will be like this? I think you know about it, right? So maybe you can put the check mark if it's correct or just leave it if it's incorrect. Okay. Now we are going to, actually this number 18, yeah, but I typo. I give some typo here. I make some typo. It's actually number 18, but I still give number 17 here. But I think it is okay, yeah. Mr. Lee is tiling a rectangular floor with an area of 12.5 meters square. He has already tiled 3 out of 4 meters square. Now the question is, which statement or which statements about the remaining area are correct? So there are 3 statement here, and let me prove it one by one. But before that, let's we gather all the information that is given here. The area of the area of the room of Mr. Lee is 12.5 meters square. and already tiled 3 out of 4 meters square. Okay, so if we want to find the remaining area first, so we have to make it into decimal form. So the remaining area to be tiled in decimal form will become like this. Remain, it means we have to subtract between the whole area here, 12.5, with the area that already tiled, 3 out of 4. Yeah. So now we have to convert this one mixed number into decimals. How come? As I explained to you before, yeah. So maybe you can just remind about how the way to convert the mixed fraction into decimals. And in this in this explanation, I will directly convert it into decimals. Yeah. So I will make 12.5 become 12.50 and 3 out of 4 become 5.75 because they are already 2 digits here and I just make it become 2 digits. So I just put 0 here as the placeholder. So I will make it become same in 2 digits behind the same number, behind the decimal numbers. And then just minus it and then you can find the answers here. How many meters square? Just compare it with it. Okay. Now for the second, the remaining area to be tiled is 63 out of 4 meters square. So after you find the answer here, just convert it again into fractions. So blah 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 point blah 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 here, as mentioned here, equals to blah 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 plus blah 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 all of blah blah blah. Then you can find the mixed fraction here. Just convert the the answer from statement 1, yeah, into fraction. And then you just compare it with is it correct or. And for the third, the percentage of the tiled area, how to find it? Just compare the area that is already tiled with the whole area. So I can make it become like this. 5.75 meters square of 12.5 meters square. So just make like this, yeah, 5.75 out of 12.5. So from here we can make fraction like this, yeah, 5 as the denominator, numerator at the certain part, 12.5 as the denominator as the whole part. And then how to make it simple? We convert it all into whole numbers. How? Just multiply each of them with 100. So 5.75 multiplied by 100 and 12.5 multiplied by 100. So it will be 575 out of 1250. Then just simplify it first before we make especially for the denominator become 100. Just divide each part here, part of numerator and denominator with 25. And as you see here, this is the answers for, or maybe this is the simplest fraction of it. Yeah, and after that, just convert the denominator here become 100. How? Because this is 50, how to make it become 100? Correct. We have to multiply it by 2. And also for denominator, just multiply it by 2. And then you can find the answers, blah, 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 percent. And then you can compare the answers with it. Is it correct or not? Okay, let's we go for the next number. A construction company purchased 4 million bricks. They initially used 0.35 of the total amount for the first phase of construction. Later, they used another 1 out of 4 of the original total amount for the second phase. Which statement or statements are correct? Okay, let me see all information that is given here. purchase 4 million bricks. Okay, 4 million bricks as the initial numbers. Next, use 0.35 of. As you see here, 0.35 is not the numbers, but actually it is the part of. So 0.35 is the part of the 4 million brick. Okay, for the first phase. And later they use another 1 out of 4 of the original total amount for the second. As you see here, there are any word used. Used mean decrease in numbers, or in other words, we can say it is an subtraction operation for the second phase. Okay, let's see. For the first, the total percentage of brick remaining after both phase is 40%. Is it correct or no? Let's prove it. How many part of the remaining in fraction? Just minus. When we must use 1 can, so okay, 1 here as the whole part of the bricks. As we know, the brick in real number is 4 million, but actually brick in part just only 1. Like the previous questions, if you are asked for the whole part, it means 1. Okay, just remember it. And then because it is used, it must be minus with 0.35 as the first phase, and minus again with 1 out of 4 as the second phase. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Then how to do it? Just make it into fraction all. So 1 become the 0.35 become 35%, and 1 out of 5 still 1 out of 4. Sorry, 1 out of 4. Then next, what do we do now? Just convert each denominator of the fraction here into 100. Why? Because 100 here as the fixed denominator that is mentioned here. And also 4 can be 100 also, right? And then 1 can be 100 out of 100. Yeah. And 1 out of 4 become 25 out of 100. Then just minus it. And after you minus it, you can find the answers here. I left it here for you. So you can continue it here. And after you find blah 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 out of 100, just make it into percentage and then just compare it. It is correct or no. Okay. Next, the number of bricks used in the first phase is 1,400,000. Let's prove it. Number of bricks used in the first phase. Okay, let's see. It is said that they initially use 0.35 of the total amount for the first phase. So 0.35 here as the part of the first phase. Okay, so 0.35 becomes 35 out of 100. And then how to convert this into quantity? Just multiply the fraction with the initial numbers of the brick. 4 million. So after that, you can do just like what I do in here. And then just multiply the numbers 35 and 40 million. 40,000. And then you can find the answers. And then just compare it with this. Is it correct or not? Okay. And the last one is about the number of bricks remaining after both phase is 1,800,000. Okay, let's see. The number of bricks used after both phase. As you see here, yeah, the number of bricks used after both phase is already obtained here in here at the first statement. So you can use the the real answer of the first statement here about the part of the remaining fractions, yeah, in percentage, to answers on the statement number 3. So just use it, yeah. How many percent? Just multiply it with the number of the initial numbers of the bricks. Yeah. So just, you know what I said, yeah? Just multiply this part, yeah, with 4 million as the initial numbers of the brick. And then you can find the answers. And you can do like what I do here. And then you can find the answer and then just compare this question, these answers with this. Is it correct or not? If it is correct, just put the check mark. If no, just leave it or ignore it. Okay, so that is for part B, that is discuss about the complex multiple choice. Now for part C is about the word problems, and likewise you have to put known as and answers because each of it will work for a certain point. Yeah, so don't forget about it. Yeah. Okay, so now for the next number, Mr. Chen monthly salary is 9,500,000 rupiah. He spent 0.4 of his salary on rent and 1 out of 5 of his salary on groceries. He saves all the remaining money. How much money does he save monthly? No. Let's we gather all information that is given here in this part. No. Mr. Chan monthly salary is 9,500,000 rupiah. Next, he spent 0 out of 4 of salary on rent. Next, he spent 1 out of 5 of salary on groceries. So now, what is the part that must be right in as part here? Just write the questions sentence. How much money does he save monthly? So these problems can be solved in 3 steps. So we have to understand about the steps one by one. Yeah. Step 1, we have to find what the numbers of the money of the salary for rent. So as we know that he spent 0 out of 4 of salary on rent. What does it mean? It means he spent 4 out of 10 here, yeah, from his salary, 9,500,000. So we just multiply it. Yeah, between 0.4 multiplied by 9,500,000. So it will become 4 out of 10 multiplied with 9,500,000. Then just proceed and then you can find the answers for the first step. Now for second step, now let's define about the money that is spent for the groceries. It is said that 1 out of 5 of his salary here is for groceries. So it means 1 out of 5 of 9,500,000. So we just multiply it between 1 out of 5 with 9,500,000. Yeah, between the fraction and the quantity, and then we can find the answers here. And for the last step, if we find about the remaining money, just subtract between the total salary of Mr. Chen, 9,500,000, with the money that is spent for the rent at the first step here, and the money that is the number of the money that is spent for the groceries for the step 2 here. And after that, you can find the answers. Then you can, yeah, something like this. And then you can make the conclusion. So you save monthly for blah 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 rupiah. And I left this blank space for you so you can also discuss with me, calculate it with me, and you can find the answers. Okay? And for the last question is about this. A container holds 1 out of 2 liters of juice. Mrs. Devi poured 0.75 liters into a glass and then poured 40% of the remaining juice into a pitcher. Now the question is how many liters of juice that is poured into a pitcher? Now let's find all the information that is given here in known part. First, a container holds 1 out of 2 liters of juice. So that is the first one, information. Next, Mrs. Devi poured 0.75 liters into a glass. and she poured 40% of remaining juice into a pitcher. Okay, now the, the question is how many liters of juice that is poured into a pitcher? So this case can be solved in two steps. So let's try to do the step one. Step one, find the remaining juice. Okay. So how to find it? Just minus it between the initial volume of the juice, yeah, 5 1 out of 2 here, with the numbers of the juice that is poured by Mrs. Devi into a glass, 0.75. Then just convert the mixed fraction here into decimals. So it will be 5.5 minus 0.75. But actually I will make it become 5.50. Why? Because it is said that there are two digits behind the decimal marks here. So I have to make it become two digit also. So I will put 0 here as the placeholder. So it can help you to subtract it. And then you can find the remaining juice. But how many liters? And after that, for step 2, juice in a pitcher, how? It is said that the juice is 40% of the remaining, right? So after you find the remaining at the step 1, just use it to solve the step 2. How? By multiply the percentage that is mentioned here with the remaining that have already been obtained in step 1. So it means 40% multiplied with the remaining. It means 40 out of 100 multiplied by blah blah blah. And you can find the answers blah 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 liters. So you can make some conclusion here. So there is blah 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 liters of juice that is poured into a pitcher. Okay? And for this time, I will give you a bonus. I give you a bonus question in this video. So this is the bonus question. Mr. Gilardo lives 800 meters from his office. He drives to office and return home along the same route 6 days a week. Now the question is, first, how many kilometers does Mr. Gilardo travel in a week along the same route? Next, if he drives to office and return home along the different route, the distance will be 20% shorter than along the same route. How many meters does Mr. Gilardo travel in 2 days along the different route? Okay, so let's see what information that is given here. First, Mr. Gilardo lives 800 meters from his office. Next, he drives to office and return home along the same route for 6 days a week. Now, what is the question? First, how many kilometers does Mr. Gilardo travel in a week along the same route? The second, if he drives to office and return home along the different route, the distance will be 20% shorter than along the same route. How many meters does Mr. Gilardo travel in 2 days along the different route? Now, let's answer it. So for first question, for part A, yeah, it can be solved in some steps, not more than one step. But let's find the solution for step 1. So step 1, just find the travel distance of Mr. Gilardo in a day. As you see here, it is said that Mr. Gilardo drives to office and return. So in this case, he will travel 2 times, right? The first time is travel from his home to office, and the second is travel from the office to back to his home, right? And if Mr. Gilardo lives 800 meters from his office, what does it mean? It means 800 meters from home to office and 800 meters from office to home, right? So it means 800 plus 800 means 1600 meters. So actually this is the answers, right? But the first question asks you to find it in kilometers. So you have to convert it into kilometer. How? So based on the conversion of the length, meter to kilometers, it must be divide the numbers with 1000. So after you find the numbers here, just divide it with 1000, then you can find the answers about blah 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 kilometer. Okay. Okay. Next, step 2. Find the travel in a week. As I said before, that he will travel 6 days a week. So after you find the answers in here, step 1, about how many kilometers, and then just multiply it with 6 days. 6 days. And then you can find about the total distance of Mr. Killer to travel. Yeah. For a week, which is 6 days. But how many kilometers? So from here, so Mr. Killer to travel in a week along the same route or blah 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 kilometer. Okay. Just remember, just understand about it. Yeah. And on the very last question, if you drive to office and return home along the different route, the distance will be 20% shorter than along the same route. 20% shorter if you take the different route. How many meters does Mr. Kiloto travel in 2 days along the different route? Okay, so you know before, yeah? Okay, and for the answers, for part B, step 1, just find the percentage of the distance along the different route in a day. How come? Let's say that 100% is a whole distance. Yeah, a whole distance. That is the part of Mr. Kiloto travel. Yeah, and 20% is the numbers or the uh, distance between different route and the same route. So if we want to find the distance, different route, so we have to find the distance by using this. Just minus 100% with 20%. 100% as the whole distance, 20% as the same route. And after that, you can find that 80% as the percentage of the different route. Okay. Then step 2, just find the travel distance along the different route in a day. In a day, yeah, in 1 day. How? 5 multiply the percentage here, 80%, with the total distance from home to the office and office to the home, 1600 meters. Then it means 80 out of 100 multiplied by 1600. You can put like this and you can find the answers. So that is the distance if Mr. Kiratu takes in different route, about blah 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 meters in a day. Now, for step 3, just find the travel distance along the different route in 2 days. So after you find the answer for step 2 here, just apply it to solve step 3. Yeah. But how many meters here? Just multiply it with 2 for 2 days and then you can find the answers here. Okay. So that is the explanation of our final test practice. And after this, I will share about the answer keys. So after you uh, try to do my guidance, your works based on my guidance during this time, you can try to compare your answers with the answer key. Okay, that's all from me, and I hope it will be useful for you for this present day or at the future. Thank you, and God bless you, everyone.